personalized support to make it happen. Through one-on-one advising, access to capital, and
Montebello Police Department is hiring skilled officers in a supportive community. Advance your career with competitive salary, benefits, generous certification bonuses, and recognized officers are also eligible for longevity pay, honoring your loyalty to the department. Your experience matters. Visit mpdcareers.com or call 323-887-1341. Montebello Police Department, dedicated to superior service.
Here,
Fill out
Councilor
Entrepreneurial
Romero.
Academy interest
Mayor
form.
Melendez.
Your business,
And I am
your
here.
future.
And just for
Let's
the
build
record,
it
Councilor
together.
Carlton will not be attending to this meeting.
Actually,
The
you can make
city's
a
rich
motion.
diversity is reflected in its residential neighborhoods.
I'll entertain a motion to excuse the council member.
I'll make a motion to excuse
Montebello
Councilmember
offers a
Fountain.
mixed variety of living choices, from single-family homes and apartments
Councilmember
to townhomes
Romero.
and
Roll call.
housing developments that feature
Mayor Pro Tem
resort-style
Tamayo.
living and modern design.
Here.
Senior
Councilor
living
Alonso.
and assisted care communities for all income levels are available and offer older adults independent and supportive living options in comfortable,
Councilor
safe,
Romero.
interactive, and friendly environments.
Mayor Melendez.
Montebello's commercial and business
We'll move on
districts
to the
offer
announcement
abundant
of the
opportunities
session.
for those who need office
Yes,
space
thank you very
or
much, Mr. Mayor,
storefronts
members of
from
the
which
council.
to
At
offer
this time,
goods
anyone
and
who wishes to
services
address the city
or to
council on
conduct
the
other
items
business.
that are listed, the 4 items that are listed for closed session, would have had to turn it in a card to the city clerk prior to this announcement. Are there any cards that?
Yes, we do have one speaker card for closed session. We have Will Severo.
Good evening, Council. I'm curious because for agenda item number 3 for legal counsel, existing litigation for Francesca Sue, if I remember right, didn't the council already settle this matter a couple years ago? And because this is on the agenda, then shouldn't we be allowed to have a next discussion? Because if we already settled this matter, why is it coming back? It should have been already on the time lapse because they asked for an extension, which was over 2 years ago. The previous council was there. So the recommendation I would say was that you guys were involved in it, so you didn't have to settle it. You guys were here when Francesco was here with that council. I don't know that the previous city manager, Renee Rodriguez, he refused to settle because she wanted to go to court and there's a potential that a lot of information that could be damaging to the city would come. In my opinion, we've done this song and dance multiple times where it only gives Arnold Glassman more hours to claim on his billable hours, and we're still always in the same mess because it's the same characters and the same players that are constantly manipulating our city. So if she wants to go to court and she wants to testify, then go for it because I think the public already deserves it, where we have some transparency. And since you guys are affiliated with it, I don't see why you guys wouldn't want to be able to expose some of these issues. I believe most of you do believe in whether we agree or not in different topics. I do believe most of you are for transparency, or believe that you're for transparency. Again, you guys are not there. This G will be released during 2018 with Jack Hajinian, Maria Romero, Vanessa Delgado, Harper Rajas, and Bill Molinari. Later on, they had a settlement case, from my understanding, with Kimberly,
Montebello
Jack,
Unified School
and
District.
Scarlett, and David, and so forth. So again, none of this would
Is one
preclude
of the
you
largest
guys.
school systems in Los Angeles County,
So I would hope that
enrolling
instead of
nearly
getting a
30,000
settlement, we
students
actually
from
get some
kindergarten
answers
to 12th
because
grade.
the same problems
Founded
that
in
we've been
1909,
having,
Montebello
we
High
have
School
a
is one
city
of the 5
attorney that's been here for
comprehensive high
17
schools in
years,
this school
and we always
district.
have these same
Montebello High
litigations
offers a safe
without
and
any
nurturing
answer.
learning environment,
It's just pay them
providing
off,
students
settle
with
it, and
intellectual,
everybody knows if we
social,
go to
and
court,
personal growth.
that guy's going to
The
settle
district has
the minute
4
he
other
gets
high
court.
schools. The Applied Technology
So
Center,
I would hope that we do
Bell
not settle and
Gardens,
pay this woman out any more money than we
and
already
Vail,
have.
as well as
She didn't
16
do a good job
elementary
as a city
schools,
manager.
6
She has a lot of
intermediate
issues,
schools,
and you
and
can
4
read about
schools
those
for
in the
adult
2018
education,
audit.
all which
Thank you,
offer
guys.
advanced learning opportunities.
Thank you for your comments.
Opened in
Any other
2011, the
speakers?
Applied Technology Center offers select students a specialized learning community combining
We only
project-based
have one
learning
speaker card for closed session.
based
Okay. All right. At this time, we'll move into closed
Yes,
session.
if I may, Mr. Mayor, make a brief comment before I make the announcement. The item that's on your agenda tonight under item 3 for Mrs. Tucker Schuyler, that is a workers' compensation matter that's been outstanding for the new council members. I should note 2 items. One is that was not a resolved portion of her civil matter. I should also note that my office is not handling this matter, so I do not make any fees, as alluded to by the speaker. And the previous case that was handled by, on the Tucker Schuyler civil case, my office did not handle that matter, nor did we earn any fees off the defense of that case. So I just want to make it clear on the record that the accusation of this speaker is completely incorrect. We do have items 1 through 4 to address to the City Council in closed session.
At this time, it'll be appropriate to go into closed session. It is 6:05. We'll return after we discuss all closed session items. Thank you.
Because he's just trying to cover his ass. That's all he ever does.
Well, I got some stuff for him too. So.
Awesome. By the way, well, we never actually physically. I was just trying to.
I don't agree with you.
I understand.
Way to travel across town or the greater Los Angeles area. Look no further. Montebello bus lines.
Hasta que termine el año. Así que te la vas a pasar muy bien. Vengan y prueben aquí a Tortas Ahogadas Chago en la ciudad de Montebello. Los
This is the
esperamos.
third
Muchas
largest
gracias.
transit agency in Los Angeles County. Montebello Bus Lines operates 7 local bus routes, a commuter connection service to Metrolink trains, and a dial-a-taxi program. Moving more than 7 million riders annually over the past decade, Montebello Bus Line supports the local economy by connecting people to jobs, shopping, entertainment venues, medical facilities, and learning institutions in 12 surrounding cities. Whether you're commuting to work or connecting with your friends to shop or eat out, let us do the driving as you sit back and relax on the way to your destination. Speaking of food, there's no lack of restaurants in the Montebello area. From authentic Mexican cuisine to classic Americana, you'll find something for everyone. Montebello offers diners a variety of tasteful eateries, bars, and social hangouts for all ages and appetites. The shops at Montebello, with its
Montebello
modernized
Police
look and
Department is
feel,
hiring skilled
strives to provide
officers
an
in a
optimal shopping
supportive community.
experience
Advance
and a
your
place to
career
come
with
together,
competitive salary,
offering numerous
benefits,
retail and
generous
dining
certification
selections for
bonuses,
the entire
and
family.
recognition for your
Go
expertise.
through Macy's,
Lateral
H&M,
officers are also
Forever
eligible.
21. Prosperity,
41.
In our community, the value of community organizations improve our quality of life by the interests and spirit those organizations uphold. Community organizations provide opportunities for friends and neighbors to give back, get involved, and come together while creating a sense of pride for the city they all share. Contact a community organization today and discover the contribution you can make through your participation and support.
Today, Shop Local, Shop Montebello visited Salvatore Restaurant with Joe to tell us more about his business.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joe from Salvatore's Italian Restaurant. Welcome. At Salvatore's Restaurant, we specialized in authentic Southern Italian food, lasagnas and spaghetti and meatballs, and of course, our pizzas. All the ingredients come from a family recipe dated back to the early 70s. When you come to Salvatore's Restaurant, we treat you like family. We're not only open for lunch and dinner, but we have full entertainment Saturdays and Sundays, a banquet room to suit any occasion, and if you can't make the banquet room, we have party trays for pickup. For more information, visit us at salvatorerestaurant.com or on our social media websites at Salvatore Restaurant. Buon appetito.
Remember, Shop Local, Shop Montebello.
With open green spaces and over 125 acres of parkland, Montebello's recreation and community services offer endless opportunities in outdoor activities, health and wellness services, exciting events, and fun activities for all ages. Offering 12 scenic parks, 4 community centers, and multiple athletic facilities, recreational resources that enhance daily living and connect residents with their community. Engaging with the public every day, the Department of Recreation and Community Services provides quality programming in athletics, childcare, volunteer opportunities, and senior wellness activities. Recreation leaders strive to provide stellar services while creating memorable experiences for all families, residents, and visitors. Looking for fun and entertainment? Find hidden gems like the Barnyard Zoo, Sanchez Adobe Museum, or the Downtown Farmers Market. Coming soon is a world-class Topgolf entertainment complex. Whether you're spending a sunny day at one of our parks or joining a community event, Recreation and Community Services has something for everyone.
Today, Shop Local, Shop Montebello visited Oeste with Naomi to tell us more about her business.
Hi, I'm Naomi, the founder and owner of Oeste, a home goods company based here in Montebello on Whittier Boulevard. Come check out our offerings. We have plenty of cosas bonitas for your casita. Here at Oeste, we specialize in aromatic goodies for your home, as well as other beautiful home decor pieces from Latin American makers and artisans, both throughout the diaspora and locally. We also have beautiful handcrafted ceramics, textiles, plants, incense, soaps, bath goods, and gift sets. We also offer candle making workshops where you can learn to make your own scented candles and take them home that very day. And don't forget, if you can't visit us in person, you can shop online at oeste.co. We've got you covered for all things cosas bonitas for your casita.
Remember, shop local, shop Montebello. Shop Local, Shop Montebello visited Boulevard Market with Barney Santos to tell us more about his business.
Hi, I'm Barney Santos, one of the founders of Boulevard Market. Let's check it out. We got For the Win, one of California's voted top smash burgers in all of California. We've got Cold Pizza. They do wood-fired Neapolitan pizza, absolutely phenomenal. And of course, we have Alchemy Craft. That's a beer and wine craft beer bar that my wife and I own. We have Los Taquero Mucho. They do artisanal Mexican cuisine and tacos. We've got Filipino cuisine called White Rice. They're one of the only Filipino restaurants in all of the east side of Los Angeles. Cafe Santo, people absolutely love their coffee. They do Oaxacan mochas like nobody else. Last but not least, we have Vichos, a Salvadoran cuisine. They've been food trucks for almost a decade, one of the original pioneers of food trucks in Los Angeles, and now they have a home here. Thanks for joining us here at Boulevard Market. good food, good drinks, and good vibes. We're here off of Whittier in downtown Montebello. Come join us for one of our many events that we have all year round. Plus, hey, if you want to have a holiday party here, this is a perfect location for it. And check out our website, boulevardmarket.com. That's BLVDMRKT. See you later.
Remember, shop local, shop Montebello.
Want to know what's going on in a bustling, growing city like Montebello? Staying connected is more important than ever, and Montebello's e-blast makes it easy with highlights sent to your email inbox every week. Signing up is quick and simple. Just visit this website link or scan the QR code on your screen and enter your email address. You're all set to receive valuable information about your community, including festivals and holiday events, public announcements, recreational programs information, renovation and development projects, and much more. With our weekly e-blast, you'll never miss out on the top news and information about your neighborhood. Together, we can build a more connected and vibrant community. Montebello's e-blast, your weekly guide to Montebello happenings. Today, Shop Local, Shop Montebello visited Montebello Bicycles with Aldo and Beatrice to tell us more about their business.
Hi, I'm Beatrice.
Hi, I'm Aldo.
We're here at Montebello Bicycles on Beverly in beautiful Montebello, California. We're the only full-service shop in Montebello with over 35 years combined experience. We can help with all your cycling needs. Our goal is to get you back on the bike, enjoy the ride, and do anything from jump on your first bike to do that 100-mile ride. We have a 1 to 2 year warranty on all new bikes, including complimentary checkup. We're super excited to be part of the Montebello community, especially with the development of the Montebello Bicycle Master Plan. And stay tuned for our Black Friday and holiday sales where you'll enjoy 10 to 25% off bicycles and accessories. Visit us at montebellobicycles.com and on socials at Montebello Bikes.
Remember, shop local, shop Montebello. The Citizen of the Month program celebrates those who embody the spirit of advocacy, volunteerism, education, and contribution. Montebello is filled with extraordinary people who light up our community with compassion. They are unsung heroes who make a difference in the lives of others. We invite you to be a part of the process and nominate someone today. To nominate someone for Citizen of the Month, visit tinyurl.com/citizen nomination or scan this QR code and complete the nomination form. Each month, the nominees are reviewed and selected by the Citizen of the Month Committee and awarded during City Council meetings. Help us acknowledge the remarkable efforts of these quiet champions and give them the recognition they deserve. Nominate someone today because every act of kindness counts.
Shop local, shop Montebello. Visited Brioche with Vanessa Raygoza to tell us more about her business.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Raygoza, Executive Pastry Chef here at Brioche Pastries. We offer pastries, cakes, and coffee. We take great pride in using artisanal methods and quality graded ingredients. We don't use any emulsifiers, stabilizers, preservatives, thickeners, or dough conditioners. We are sourcing our chocolate from Switzerland, our compounds from France and Italy. Visit us at briochepastries.com. Come get your gift certificates for the holidays and place your special orders with us. See you soon.
Remember, shop local, shop Montebello.
Shop local, shop Montebello visited Organica Juice Bar with Anna to tell us more about her business.
Hi, welcome to Organica Juice Bar. My name is Anna. I'm the owner and founder of Organica. We are the first organic juice business in Montebello, and we're happy to be here because this is a city I grew up in and I continue to live here. So, welcome. We have created a space for wellness and a healthier lifestyle. We make our almond milk in-house every day. As you're thinking about a healthy start to your new year, we specialize in organic, fresh, made-to-order juices, superfood smoothies and bowls, salads, toast, wellness shots, healthy snacks, and detox cleanses. Our wellness classes coming up in the month of December. We also do catering services. We invite you to follow us on our social media, Organica Juice Bar. Please visit us for good vibes, and remember, health is wealth. Thank you.
Shop local, shop Montebello. Shop Local, Shop Montebello visited Ground Up Coffee with Daniel Dupuy to tell us more about his business.
Hey, what's up? My name is Daniel Dupuy. I'm the owner here at Ground Up Coffee. Born and raised here in Montebello. We're a local business. Let me show you what we do. Ground Up Coffee is the first specialty coffee shop in Montebello. We've been here 8 years now. We buy farm direct coffee in an ethical way. We roast it ourselves here at our coffee shop. We do all types of lattes. We do cold brews. We do drip coffees. We also have growlers for cold brew. We do a couple specialty teas. And we also have resale bags for things that you can brew at home. We're definitely a community-oriented shop. We have great Wi-Fi. We have a lot of outlets for charging your computers. We get a lot of students. We have a community library that over the years has become a really, really dope selection of books. And it's definitely a space people come to relax, get away, or to be inspired. Catch our website at groundupcoffeela.com. So come on down, grab one of those things, and hope you enjoy yourself.
Remember, shop local, shop Montebello.
I am Melanie Walovich. I'm the person that takes care of the Montebello Barnyard Zoo. What we're doing is, well, due to the fires, there's a family that reached out to me asking if, there's anything I can do to maybe help the family that lost their home. They have about almost 50 animals, farm animals, and I offered for them to bring them here. The point of doing this is to help the animals so they're all in one place together. They will have love, food, people visiting them all the time until the family can get back on their feet again. And that is my main goal, is to make sure that they're okay and they get the help they need.
Small businesses power Montebello, and now we're powering you. The Leaf Business Boost program is here to help local entrepreneurs launch, grow, and thrive. Whether you're just starting out or looking to expand, this program provides the resources, expert guidance, and personalized support to make it happen. Through one-on-one advising, access to capital, and hands-on training in marketing, finance, business operations, and more, the Business Boost program gives you the toolkit you need to succeed. Classes begin in March and meet once a week for 10 sessions. Best of all, Leaf Business Boost program is completely free. Because when local businesses succeed, Montebello thrives. Start your journey now. Visit leeaf.la to fill out the Entrepreneurial Academy interest form. Your business, your future. Let's build it together.
Welcome to the city of Montebello. Montebello is adjacent to the San Gabriel Valley in Los Angeles County, approximately 8 miles southeast of downtown Los Angeles. Here you'll find a beautiful suburban community, parks and open space, and diverse dining and shopping experiences among a thriving business district. Settled by the native Tongvan peoples and later developed by missionaries and agriculture, the city reflects its name for beautiful mountain. Montebello's fertile hills are historically known for their natural beauty and breathtaking views. The discovery of oil in the region in the early 1900s gave rise to local industry and increased prosperity of the city. Montebello is now home to nearly 63,000 residents. Located near major freeways, Montebello is an ideal location for businesses to thrive, serving as an important center for the movement of goods, auto sales, and industrial warehousing and manufacturing, offering families, visitors, and businesses an environment in which they can live, work, and play. The The public safety of Montebello's residents is looked after by a dedicated police force and fire department. These committed professionals work day and night to protect and serve the health and safety needs of all community members. These departments offer a range of support including community policing, paramedic aid, homeless outreach, and fire prevention and suppression are all important aspects of living in Montebello.
Shop local, shop Montebello visited Chago Tortas Ahogadas with Santiago Chago Laguna to tell us more about his business.
Hi, my name is Santiago Chago Laguna. Welcome to my Tortas Ahogadas Chago. 123 Washington, Montebello, beautiful city. Tenemos tortas ahogadas, que es la especialidad de la casa, tortas ahogadas Chago. Y es un virote salado, delicioso, que ya están viendo los hornos, cómo se prepara aquí la torta ahogada. Es exclusivo de Guadalajara, pero ya, bueno, rompimos con ese mito de que en Estados Unidos no hay virote salado, pues lo hicimos. Tortas ahogadas Chago lo cumplió y lo hizo aquí. Tenemos tacos dorados sabrosos de papa y de frijol, muy sabrosos. Aquí los esperamos para que los prueben. Los invitamos para que vean nuestras redes sociales, chagogadas.com. Y bueno, si tú dices que escuchaste y viste este video, tienes tu 20% de descuento de aquí hasta que termine el año. Así de que te la vas a pasar muy bien. Vengan y prueben aquí de Tortas Ahogadas Chago en la ciudad de Montebello. Los esperamos. Muchas gracias.
Recuerde, compre localmente, compre en Montebello. Montebello Police Department is hiring skilled officers in a supportive community. Advance your career with competitive salary, benefits, generous certification bonuses, and recognition for your expertise. Lateral officers are also eligible for longevity pay, honoring your loyalty to the department. Your experience matters. Visit mpdcareers.com or call 323-887-1341. Montebello Police Department, dedicated to superior service.
The city's rich diversity is reflected in its residential neighborhoods. Montebello offers a mixed variety of living choices, from single-family homes and apartments to townhomes and new housing developments that feature resort-style living and modern design. Senior living and assisted care communities for all income levels are available and offer older adults independent and supportive living options in comfortable, safe, interactive, and friendly environments. Montebello's commercial and business districts offer abundant opportunities for those who need office space or storefronts from which to offer goods and services or to conduct other business. Montebello Unified School District is one of the largest school systems in Los Angeles County, enrolling nearly 30,000 students from kindergarten through 12th grade. Founded in 1909, Montebello High School is one of 5 comprehensive high schools in this school district. Montebello High offers a safe and nurturing learning environment, providing students with intellectual, social, and personal growth. The district has 4 other high schools: the Applied Technology Center, Bell Gardens, Shure, and Vale, as well as 16 elementary schools, 6 intermediate schools, and 4 schools for adult education, all which offer advanced learning opportunities. Opened in 2011, the Applied Technology Center offers select students a specialized learning community combining project-based learning with career-based skill sets in architecture, construction, culinary, engineering, and legal and health services. We're also home to several private religious schools, including St. Benedict Grammar School, Cantwell Sacred Heart of Mary High School, Miraculous Middle School, and other faith-based education options. All of Montebello's schools share a commitment to academic excellence and helping students to achieve their full potential.
Today, Shop Local, Shop Montebello is visiting Angry Horse Brewing with Nathan McCusker to tell us about their business.
I'm Nathan McCusker. Welcome to Angry Horse Brewing here on Whittier Boulevard. Here at Angry Horse Brewing, we build community through craft beer. We make craft beer and seltzer-based cocktails right here in our Montebello facility.
Sorry, that wasn't hitting right. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting back into order. If I could please have our city attorney provide a report on the closed session items.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. The record should reflect the City Council convened into closed session with the 4 members that are present this evening or present in closed session. And the following is my report. On items 1, 2, and 3, the City Council received a briefing on those workers' compensation matters. There was no final action taken that is required to be reported at this time, but the Council has provided direction in each of those 3 items. On item number 4, the Public Employee review of the decision of the Civil Service Commission, the City Council unanimously approved upholding the decision of the Civil Service Commission, authorized the mayor to sign a confidential resolution to confirm that action. That concludes my report from closed session. It's appropriate to continue with the open portion of the meeting.
Thank you, City Attorney. And before we begin, I'd like to note that Councilmember Peralta will not be attending today's meeting. If I can please have our city clerk do the invocation and our fire chief, if we can please do the pledge. If you can all please rise. Thank you.
We're thankful for this day that you have given us, for its blessings, its opportunities, its challenges. May we appreciate and use each day that comes to us. We pray for strength and guidance for each day as it comes, for each day's duties, for each day's problems. May we be challenged to give our best always, and we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our services to fellow citizens and to our community. We ask this in thy name. Amen.
Let's put our hands over our heart, please. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, Fire Chief. We'll move on to corrections to the agenda. City Manager, do we have any?
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. There aren't any corrections to the agenda today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. At this portion, we'll move on to the presentations. So we do have several proclamations, and we do have somebody for one of the presentations that will be receiving the proclamation. But I'll begin with the proclamation for National Child Abuse Month. April marks Child Abuse Prevention Month, a time when we unite as a community to raise awareness, advocate for change, and stand against the scourge of child abuse. Child abuse comes in many forms, from physical and emotional harm to neglect and exploitation. It knows no boundaries of age, gender, or socioeconomic status. and its impact can be devastating, leaving scars that can last a lifetime. As a society, we cannot turn a blind eye to this injustice. We must be vigilant in recognizing the signs of abuse and taking action to intervene and protect those who are at risk. Together, let's send a clear message that child abuse will not be tolerated in our community. Let us be the voice for those who cannot speak for themselves and the champions for their safety and well-being. Together, we can make a difference and build a brighter future for all of our children. There are resources and information available to help at preventchildabuse.org. We also have a proclamation for National Volunteer Month. As we continue into the month of April, I want to also recognize National Volunteer Month, and I'd like to use this time to recognize our citizens and staff who keep all of our organizations, programs, and services thriving. Without the dedication and passion of our city staff and community volunteers, many programs would not be possible. I urge our residents to find opportunities to volunteer with us, follow city news and information, and watch for opportunities to participate in events and programs like City Service Saturday cleanups organized by our Recreation and Community Service Department. Speaking of our city's volunteer events, our next one will take place on April 26, 2025, as we celebrate Earth Day during a community cleanup. This event will provide volunteers an opportunity to work alongside seasoned staff to spruce up two of the city's most popular parks, Chet Holyfield and Reggie Rodriguez. There will also be a free compost giveaway, e-waste collection, and bulky item drop-off. You can sign up today for this exciting event at montebellocalifornia.gov. And I actually like to acknowledge a lot of folks here that participate in a lot of our volunteer programs. Just want to give you a big thanks, and we appreciate you all very much for making an impact in our community. April is also Autism Awareness Month. The City of Montebello also recognizes April as Autism Acceptance Month. Autism or autism spectrum disorder includes a range of conditions that can affect social interaction, communication, and behavior in unique ways. The CDC reports that approximately 1 in 36 children in the United States are diagnosed with autism today, and that 1 in 45 adults in the US also have autism. In 2007, the United Nations General Assembly officially designated April 2nd as World Autism Awareness Day, a day that encourages global efforts to foster greater understanding, acceptance, and inclusion for individuals with autism. As a community, it's important that we continue to educate ourselves about autism and celebrate the strengths, resilience, and unique perspectives of those who experience the world differently. For many families and individuals, autism brings a profound shift in perspective, one that deepens empathy and broadens our shared understanding of what it means to connect, communicate, and thrive. For more information, visit autismspeaks.org. This month is also National Armenian History Month. April is also designated as Armenian History Month, a significant recognition bestowed by the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors. This designation highlights the substantial contributions of the Armenian community to our county's economy and culture, a sentiment echoed nationwide. Throughout this month, we honor the achievements of our local Armenian community while also commemorating those who have been affected by historic conflicts. In particular, we take this time to honor the Armenian community's legacy and recognize the 1.5 million lives lost in the Armenian genocide of 1915. April holds particular significance in our city's history in relation to this topic. In April of 1968, 57 years ago, Montebello became the first city in the United States to unveil an Armenian Martyrs Memorial Monument dedicated to the victims of the Armenian genocide. The 75-foot-tall monument stands as a solemn reminder of the lives lost during those tragic events and remains accessible to the public as a symbol of remembrance. After having the structure stand on our grounds for more than 50 years, just 2 months ago, Montebello proudly joined Senator Bob Archuleta in recognizing the monument's new status as a designated California historical landmark. For the next proclamation, if I can please have my colleagues join me up in the front. April is also National Donate Life Month, a time dedicated to raising awareness about the critical need for organ, eye, and tissue donors. This year's theme, Let Life Sing, draws inspiration from the songs of birds, symbolizing hope, renewal, and the life-giving impact of donation. Currently, more than 100,000 individuals across the United States are awaiting life-saving transplants. By becoming a donor, one person can save up to 8 lives and enhance many more through tissue donation. In California, registering as an organ and tissue donor is straightforward. You can sign up online at Donate Life California's website, or indicate your decision when renewing your driver's license or identification card at the DMV. Throughout April, various events and observances highlight the importance of donation. Notably, National Donate Life Blue and Green Day on April 11th encourages everyone to wear blue and green to promote the Donate Life message. I encourage all Montebello residents to consider the profound impact of organ, eye, and tissue donation. By registering as donors, we can give the gift of life and let our collective song of hope and renewal be heard. To learn more about this important initiative, residents are encouraged to visit donatelife.net. And finally, I want to present this proclamation to Darlene Pasillas on behalf at One Legacy. One Legacy is a nonprofit organization that serves as a federally designated organ and tissue recovery organization for the greater Los Angeles area. They are committed to saving lives through organ and tissue donation, working tirelessly to increase awareness and facilitate transplants to those in need. If we can please give her a round of applause. I'm also going to give you the mic to talk a little bit more about all the great work that you do.
Thank you so much. Mayor Melendez, esteemed City Council members, and the City of Montebello, thank you so much for your support and recognition of Donate Life Month. My name is Darlene Pasillas, and I am a donor daughter. My mother, Irma Saldate, was a vivacious woman, loving mother for pastor's wife, and prominent family member who loved to throw theme parties, pamper herself with a lot of her business being in the City of Montebello with nail salons and hair salons, and giving of her time, whether that was her resources, her wisdom, or our belongings that she was tired of nagging us about. She got rid of those. Unfortunately, Memorial Day weekend 2012, she suffered a brain aneurysm at home and was rushed to Garfield Medical Center. She was provided the utmost care, and 2 independent doctors had conducted various tests to determine the likelihood of her status and the likelihood of her recovery. Unfortunately, we were informed that she was declared brain dead and she would be left in a vegetative state. As our family processed this devastating news, we were gently approached by One Legacy, who had informed us that my mother was actually registered as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. This came as a surprise to us as she had never mentioned it, but it was comforted in knowing that she was still willing to be selfless and give to others even in her passing. We actually had close family friends who were a brother and sister who sang in the choir with my mom and had been on dialysis for a couple of years. We asked if there was a way that we can possibly designate them to see if there was a match. And if you may or may not know, there's a lot of factors that are considered to match a donor to recipient: blood type, height, weight, medical condition, the viability of an organ. And both miraculously were a match for my mom's kidneys. They are going on 13 years of renewed life, both doing very well. She extended the life of a gentleman in his 50s by donating her liver, gave the gift of sight by donating her corneas, and healed up to 50 lives by donating her tissue. I stand here today honored to represent One Legacy's mission, proud daughter to honor my mom's story and her legacy, and encourage you all to make a difference and visit onelegacy.org for more information or to register as a donor. Thank you for allowing me to share my story and for recognizing Donate Life Month.
Thank you. Can we please hear another round of applause and accept this proclamation on behalf of the City Council.
Seal me. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Is this your mother? Yes. You have my dad.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 10, which is the Bluff Road update. Do we have a staff presentation?
Yes, Mayor, council members, giving a presentation on this project is the Director of Public Works, he's Roldan.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the audience, the presentation today is our Bluff Road fence project. So we're going to go ahead and start with the project timeline. On June 30th of 2020, Senator Archuleta secured project funding, $935,000 for the Bluff Road fence project. And November 10th of 2021, the City Council adopted Resolution 21-89, which was for accepting the grant. And the basic premise of the grant is to remove and replace 8,500 feet of fence along Bluff Road between Sycamore Street and Mines Avenue. In February 7, 2022, the State Department of Parks and Recreation executed the contract with the city. So now that agreement is legally binding, allowing us to kind of commence the project. And under that agreement, the performance period was from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th of 2024. In the winter of 2022, the city requested additional time from the Department of Parks and Recreation just because it had certain concerns and it was not going to be meeting the deadline. So on April 26th of 2023, the State Department of Parks and Recreation executed an amendment to the original agreement whereby the contract performance period was moved from June 30th, 2024 through June 30th of 2028. In April of last year, the City Council approved the consultant to perform survey of Bluff Road. The main reason for some of this is that there were private property parcels that were actually on in the right-of-way, and it did not allow city to go ahead and construct the fence. So the record of survey is the city's official map that documents and identifies the physical land boundaries, which is also a state requirement from the Department of Parks and Rec. The record of survey's purpose is to bring field surveys related to property lines and land boundaries to the public's attention. So as I had discussed earlier, so some of the challenges were that the state requires us to prove that the city is responsible and to demonstrate ownership of the public right-of-way. So the draft record of survey map was completed in February of 2025. The survey team took almost a year to find corner records, land records, county records to establish the right-of-way, private property, and boundary lines. Research, material evidence, and physical changes that are not reflected in any previously filed or recorded subdivision maps included data from the past 100 years. So gathering this information was extremely difficult because the county didn't have all the information, and so they had to dig deeper than typically if you would do a boundary survey for a private property parcel. And in doing so, the survey confirmed that there was 5 encroaching private property owners along Bluff Road. And then you have the 5 parcel owners there. The LA County Surveyor's Office is currently reviewing the record of survey for accuracy, and that usually takes about 6 months or so. And then also, once that's actually accepted and approved by the County Surveyor's Office, then that moves to the LA County Recorder's Office for recordation. And then that's the actual, the record of survey would then be presented to the State Parks Department so that they could allow us to commence with the fence. So as you can see here, parcel 6348-013-001 is approximately 10,450 square feet. And you can see there that it is part of Bluff Road. So if you were to be traveling northbound on Bluff Road in this segment, partially that road would be privately owned. And the same thing with the next three parcels, A348-014-001, 002, and 003. Combined, they're 12,609 square feet. And once again, they take, if not a large percentage of the roadway on the north side of Bluff Road. And then the last parcel is 5,634 square feet. Now, in this case, this happens to just be outside of the roadway itself. So it's not impacting us from a roadway manner, but mostly when we're going to be placing the fence, we have to make sure that it's not on private property. Here are a couple of our state grant requirements. So the State Department of Parks oversees the grant. So the staff is supposed to submit in quarterly reports. Staff is supposed to provide updates and frequently have meetings with parks and recreation staff members. And at this point, the city has not received any money up front. Again, this is a reimbursable grant, which means that the city must incur costs in order for us to provide them with invoices. And the state requires us to fill out certain documents that are related to the State Department of Parks. The city cannot move forward with the fence project without determining land ownership of right-of-way and boundary lines. So going back to the right-of-way, to the record of survey, the state requires us to submit that once it's actually recorded with the county. And the grant requires proof, deed, record of survey in this case to be part of the ownership. So here are the next steps for us. So the record of survey draft is pretty much completed. Like stated, it's currently under review with the county recorder's office and the county surveyor's office. The next step for us too is to negotiate in good faith with the 5 parcel owners to inform them that we will be putting or placing the fence and ensuring that they're working together with us to allow us to put in the fence or make sure that it's placed in the right property. Like I said, step 3, the county recorder's office is currently reviewing it, and that's going to take place between February and July of 2025. And then once we get approval and the record of survey is accepted, we will come back to the city council requesting authorization to solicit bids to fabricate and install the fence. And this is between June 2025 and August 25. Step number 5 is the fence fabrication and installation by the contractor that's selected within the prescribed budget. And so we're looking to see this through between September of 2025 through December of 2025. And then once the project is completed, we would bring back the notice of completion for city council approval sometime in January, February of 2026. And that concludes my presentation on this item. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the presentation. Let me go around to see if any of my colleagues have any comments, questions. The city manager, did you?
Mayor, if I may, I just wanted to add just a little bit more context. Well, first, I do want to begin by thanking the community for your patience. As you saw, this is something that at least in its onset should have been done by now. I will say this project has not been short of challenges. The biggest challenge actually being that we don't have fully established the property ownership, right? Well, we have established it, now we need to make sure it's certified, and we need to negotiate with those property owners. I want to highlight a couple things. In my many years of working in similar projects and grants administrations with the state, one of the fundamental requirements that the state usually has with these grants is they won't give you funding, or they won't even actually consider you unless you have full ownership of the land that you're trying to build on, whatever the project is, or you have a long-term lease agreement where you're able to build, right? The reason is they don't want to give you money and it gets tied up, and it's a pretty fundamental requirement. I don't know, I can't speak to why that they allowed this money to be provided to us without having complete ownership of the land. But the good news is that we got the money, right? That's a good news. Now, the reason it's been delayed is because we've had these challenges of actually trying to figure out how do we move the project forward? How do we build on private land? So one of the delays in the large portion of last year that we spent was actually trying to establish the ownership. We're a city that's over 100 years. I can tell you, Caesar, our city clerk, many staff have spent many hours in our basements actually going through our records, going through the county, trying to establish ownership, and we couldn't. So last year we came to council, we asked for approval to do a record of survey. So now we know the property owners. Great. And now the next step is actually we have to talk to the property owners and reach some type of agreement. As you're seeing the next step, tentative timeline, we have a path forward now, with the caveat that hopefully we have property owners that are amenable to having a fence built, and technically their property, which we think will benefit not only the city, but actually will benefit them, right, to address many of these issues. So we have a path forward. That's great news. Hopefully we're able to reach an agreement with those property owners. As we go forward in the process, I also wanted to highlight the fact that, again, great news that we received this money, but we technically never received the money, right? There was never actual money that was transferred to the city coffers from the state of California. As Director Roldan mentioned, this is a reimbursement grant, which means that we actually don't encumber or actually receive any funds until we spend money in advance for the project, right? So once we have ownership, once we come back to council, do the bidding process, award the contract, and actually start building the fence, we pay up front. We pay up front as a city for any expenses incurred. Then we submit those invoices to the state of California, and then we get reimbursed for that amount. So again, I really want to thank the community for being patient. This is a long time coming. This is a great project. We thank the state of California. I thank the previous leadership, council, and administration for having the foresight of trying to bring this project forward. I just ask you to continue to bear with us as we move along, unfortunately at a snail's pace, but hopefully in the near future we will have this fence ready to go for the community in South Montebello.
Thank you for that. We'll go ahead and start with Mayor Pro Tem Tamayo. Do you have any questions, comments?
So a question that comes to mind is the fence going to be contiguous? Is that or do we not know yet?
Yes, the idea is that we will be starting on Sycamore, and we will be moving up as far as we can. Like the city manager stated, if we happen to run into a private property owner who's like, don't touch my fence, don't look at it, then we're gonna have to figure that out, right? We have to be mindful, obviously, of private property. And then we're just gonna move forward and kind of keep moving north.
Understood.
And we're always, I've already started to look at potential, something that's not chain link, something that's not wrought iron, something that's gonna be as strong as possible with the money that we do have, so that even individuals are not able to climb over it easily, right?
And so the design of it would be when it goes out to bid, or the design phase happens before the bid, right? Or how is?
Yeah, so I'm already working on the specifications so that we're ready as soon as we have either some sort of an agreement with the owners, or we have some sort of approval from the state to go ahead with the record of survey in their hands. We're just looking at various options. We've been taking a look at several fences that have been placed by Caltrans, for example, in the right-of-way, that they're somewhat decorative but strong. and we're trying to see what that cost looks like. So we're weighing all our options, but we haven't really technically chosen anything because we have to be within plus or minus, that cost of the $935,000.
Thank you for answering my questions.
Okay, we'll go on with Councilmember Alonso.
Yeah, thanks to you and the entire staff for putting this presentation together. Just want to clarify one thing or several things, just to make sure I understand this clearly. This is a reimbursement grant, meaning we don't have money in the bank for this just yet. We need to spend the money, and then we will apply for the grant and have that money reimbursed to us, correct?
Yes, council members. So this grant is similar to, for example, our Caltrans grant. So we had received approval from the city council 9 months ago or so to do 3 traffic signals where state funding was being utilized primarily to pay for the construction work. And so as we're expanding the grant and as we process the invoice through the finance department, that invoice is then collected as part of the reimbursement. And then we need to provide proof of the check, invoices, purchase orders, and everything else.
Thank you for that. The other question I have is, we are in the process of now, we've identified the parcel owners and we're in the process of negotiating with them in order for us to have approval of those 5 parcels that we identified, right, in order for us to build.
So I'm sorry, you asked whether or not we were in the process of negotiating?
Yeah, we've identified 5 parcels of land, right?
Correct.
And now we're in the process of actively negotiating to have permission to actually go ahead and build on those 5 parcels.
So we do have property ownership information. Our next step is to actually actively work with the 5 property owners to negotiate, at which point in time, this would require the city attorney's assistance along with the city manager's assistance as well.
So what we need to do with the property owners is in essence, reach an agreement for them to give us permission to build this fence. And then hopefully that's as smooth as it goes. If it doesn't, I mean, at that point, we need to come back internally and assess our options and then also discuss it with council if they're not amenable towards building the fence.
From an engineer's perspective, can you tell me or explain to me why it's not feasible or it's not the right idea to start building without having permission from those 5 parcel owners? Why not begin the project now and then get approval?
That's a good question. Obviously, private property ownership is very important in this country. Infringing on somebody or encroaching on somebody's land without really permission, would grant them the opportunity to remove it if they choose to. And so we have to obviously be mindful and respectful of that.
Fantastic. And then our expected completion time, like barring any issues, is January 2026, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a goal. But again, the caveat being, if we kind of reach an agreement with these property owners, I mean, it could be potentially a legal process, right? And then that's something that's actually a timeline that we can't control, right? So just to be clear again, the goal is that, and the path, at least for now, is that we are able to complete this by January 2026, barring any unforeseen issues and negotiations with the property owners.
Thank you for that. I'll move on to Councilmember Romero.
Yes, I would just like to thank you again for the presentation and also the clarity regarding the funds, if we had received them or not, because I know there was confusion with the residents if we had received the funds. So thank you for that clarity. Do you know how long or what the time frame is usually to get the reimbursement once we have spent money to get reimbursed for that? Or do we send, do we do it as we go?
That's an excellent question. So personally, as the finance department releases a check, we obviously want to get that money back as soon as possible, right? Because every penny that's not back in our coffers is a dirty look that I get from the finance director.
Right.
And so I'm immediately sending, as soon as I have a copy of that check and a copy of that invoice, I'm sending back that reimbursement. And usually the state gets back to you between 30 and 45 days.
Okay. All right,
And then to clarify, the state does hold about 5%, just because they want to make sure that you have your documentation and paperwork in order once the project is completed. And technically, it might take up to like 7 years you're supposed to have records for up to 7 years regarding state and federal grants. Because there's so many other projects that their auditing department at the state and federal level takes a while to get to you. And then once they do that final audit, then they'll release 5%, just to be very honest and transparent about that.
Thank you.
All right. First of all, thank you for the presentation. I do have a couple of questions and comments. First one, and sorry if you already answered this, but is there a specific timeline that we have to have this completed by in order for us to get reimbursed? I know it started in 2020. We're in 2025. Is there a specific amount that the state has given us to complete this project?
Yes, Mayor. So the state, in 2023, when the City Council executed an amendment to the original agreement, it allowed us to go and finish this project by June 30th of 2028. However, we're pushing through this. I think, like the city manager stated, the residents, especially on the south side, they're tired of not having their fence looking nice, and so we're working as hard as we can on our end to give the state what they need in order for us to kind of quote unquote proceed. So we don't want to wait till 2028.
And then a concern that I have is that this was approved in 2020. It's 2025. Cost of material, I'm assuming, has gone up after pandemic and all that. I'm wondering if the budget that was allocated or the grant that was awarded to us, if it had projections from 2020 on what the cost of the material and of all of this would be, if that has drastically changed. And the point that I would like us to focus on is if that's the case, then it kind of seems like there might be, and I know this going into the future, but that it's probably going to require for us to allocate additional funding from our budget to complete this fence. And also another point to this, as we're negotiating with some of the property owners and discussing that, is there a budget set aside to that there's going to be some monetary compensation for any of these property owners that might be willing to say, hey, it is private property, I'm willing to, are we setting anything aside, or is it just good faith, sure, building my property,
Mayor, excellent questions. Thank you. So the first question is, the price of metal has gone up substantially over the last 5 years. And over the last 1 or 2 years, it's really gone up a lot. The good and bad that tariffs don't affect this metal because it's Buy America. We can't purchase any metal from outside or any metals outside of the U.S. But that being said, the cost has gone up. So at some point in time when we do go out to bid, the question is going to be like the fabrication of metal and how much are they willing to do that. So, for example, if I go in right now, most metal fabricators will only hold the cost for a month. After a month, it's going to go up. So you have to technically lock in everything and make sure that they fabricate that. That's why, going back to Mayor Pro Tem's question, so I'm working on getting something right now that I know is going to be, quote unquote, within the money that I have per linear foot for this fence. And so the cost will go up at some point in time. I think that's a conversation with the city manager's office as to additional funding potentially for that. And then negotiating with the private property owners, that's also a good question. There's ideas that, we could get into a lot of things, but as to whether or not individuals are willing to work with us and kind of quote unquote deed us the property for the purposes of installing a fence, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. But, I can't tell whether 5 property owners are actually going to be, prudent and say, okay, yeah, go ahead and take the property for purposes of land.
Thank you for your answers.
Yeah, I mean, as of now, the grant did not provide for land acquisition. That's not the intent of the grant, is to build a fence. So as of now, there is no budget, but the goal is to try to reach an agreement, again, good faith, that this will benefit them and it will benefit the city at no cost to them.
Thank you for that. And I guess just my final point to that would be, as we are going through the budget process, maybe, kind of thinking into the future of us, which most likely, I'm assuming, we're going to have to provide some funding from our budget for this fence to just, start thinking about the allocation of that. Okay. All right. Thank you again for the presentation. We'll move on to item number 11, Athens Residential Solid Waste presentation.
Yes, Mayor, council members, we have a presentation from the Vice President of Government Affairs for Athens Services, Mrs. Vicky Martinez Muela. Welcome.
Good evening. Plug this back in. I got this. Thank you so much. You know what? I'm going to do this. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, staff. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. My name is Vicky Martinez Muela with Athens Services. I'm going to go ahead and open up my notes because I want to make sure I deliver you the best presentation. But it's really hard to follow after one legacy. You moved me. So to that, everyone, I am here tonight. I serve the Montebello community, and we are here to discuss the upcoming rollout of blue recycling containers to the Montebello households. Thank you. There we go. At Athens Services, we are proud to be your partners in environmental sustainability, ensuring that the city of Montebello meets state-mandated requirements for trash, recycling, and organics. This includes a new system that will maximize the recovery of recyclable material. With each household receiving a blue recycling container, we aim to make it easier for community members to participate in the recycling process. We want to make sure that the community is aware and excited for this new program. You may have seen this notification in the spring Montebello newsletter announcing the new blue recycling barrels. Residents will be receiving a letter in the mail this week, which includes frequently asked questions and a recycling guide to support their education in using their new blue recycling container. Each household will receive a 96-gallon blue recycling container delivered to their address on their regularly scheduled trash collection day from April 14th through April 25th. Once delivered curbside, please bring in your blue barrel and start separating your recyclables. Starting the week of Monday, April 28th, add your blue recycling container to the curbside for service on your regular collection day. Remember, recycling collection does not begin until the week of Monday, April 28th. A quick refresher on what goes where. You'll now place your trash in the black container, recyclables in the blue container, and organic waste in the green container. Trash items include palm fronds, cactus, and foam items. Please do not put any hazardous or bulky waste items in the black container. Call us for more information on how to dispose of these items safely. Notice these labels. They are hot stamped on the top of the lids to support proper sorting. Here is your green container, your organics and food. Grass, food waste, food-soiled paper and grease-stained cardboard like pizza boxes can be placed in the organics container. We hope that the reminder signage on the barrel will help to reduce contamination, meaning putting items in the wrong container. Finally, here is that beautiful blue recycle bin. Plastic, aluminum, glass, cardboard, newspaper. We've included a helpful recycling guide in the mailer for you and your family. Please remember, Athens Services will start servicing your blue recycling container along with your other containers on your regular trash day, starting the week of Monday, April 28th. And with that, I thank you so much, Council, for your time. We will be, you'll be seeing a lot of us in the next few weeks, months. It's a pleasure to serve you and the community of Montebello.
Thank you for your presentation. I'll look around to see if my colleagues have any questions, comments.
Just a quick thank you for the presentation, and thank you for having the documents in multiple languages. English is my second language, and I can appreciate when I see other languages for other people who might not be too comfortable with English yet. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Council Member.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, my question is, are the black and the green bins that we currently have, are those going to be replaced, or we're just getting the additional blue?
You'll just be getting the additional blue.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Just thank you for the presentation. I did want clarity for residents that may not know why on the green waste bins on the presentation, it said no cactus and no palms. And just so for clarity for other people who may not know, why are you not able to put cactus or palms in the green waste bin?
Excellent question. Thank you so much, Council Member. Cactus and palm fronds actually have really dangerous seeds that when they grow, they are expansive and they will be, they're, what's the word I'm looking for? Detrimental. I like that. They are detrimental to the organics. So we need to make sure that those stay in trash versus our organics green waste container. Great question. And I'll be better with that answer next time.
Okay, and also because they're quite fibrous, correct? So then
That's
that would
correct
be a
as
problem
well.
with them disposing. Okay.
Thank you. Perfect. I promise I will be better at that answer next time.
Okay.
Just overall, thank you for the presentation. Extremely excited about the blue bin. I think it definitely is going to encourage a lot of our community to recycle. I think what tends to happen a lot is folks that don't recycle, they'll end up throwing it in the trash. And I know you all do a great job in separating it, but I think it goes a long way to be a little bit more intentional in putting a blue bin and putting the recyclables there and just encourage that mindset for the community. And thank you for the presentation, and we hope to see you all in many events here, Earth Day, and all these events are coming up. So,
to that mayor and to the council and community, happy Earth Month. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Okay, at this moment, we'll move to public comments on non-agenda items.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. At this time, anyone who wishes to address the City Council would have had to fill out a card and turn it into the City Clerk's table prior to this statement. Anyone who is addressing the City Council will have 3 minutes to address your comments. We have the first 30 minutes aside for the initial public comment period. Anyone who did not, or if we don't have complete public comment within the first 30 minutes, then those will be held over to the end of the agenda. Mr. City Clerk, do we have public comment cards?
Yes, we do.
And how many?
We have a total of 9 speakers.
9? Yes. Thank you.
First speaker is Lucia Love, followed by Rosa Tamayo. Lucia? No. Okay, we'll move on to Rosa Tamayo, followed by Raul Hurtado.
Disculpa que no te llamé, pero no pensaba venir. Buenas noches, Mayor Salvador Meléndez y miembros del concilio. Yo soy Rosa Tamayo y quería decirles que estoy escuchando a muchas amistades que yo tengo en la ciudad que hay un problema en la subida de la renta. Muchas facilidades de vivienda están subiendo hasta $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 cuando son viviendas que las han reconstruido, es más todavía, hasta $2,000. Y ahorita la situación económica de las familias, pues no pueden pagar tanta renta. Así que, por favor, consideren tener control de renta en Montebello. El otro problema es que muchas facilidades de vivienda no hay accesibilidad y están discriminando a muchas personas. Como ustedes saben, por la ley Rosas Lao, disculpa. Entonces, yo siempre estoy pendiente de que a las personas con discapacidad y veteranos tengan accesibilidad a vivienda. Y estoy pensando que un día de estos voy a poner un clasud porque la vivienda está muy alta y no tienen acceso para pagar. Y yo pregunto, ¿esta vivienda es accesible para que una persona veterana con un promedio de $1,300 pueda pagar? Dicen no. Entonces, por eso están muchos veteranos en la calle y muchas personas con discapacidad en la calle. Entonces, Rosasla tiene tiene un derecho a esas personas a derechos de civil rights. Por eso estoy pensando hacer un clasud. Porque ahora con JJ, la fundación de César Chávez, JJ Rodríguez, no les dieron oportunidad a sordos.
Gracias por su comentario.
Okay.
If we could please have the next speaker.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Raul Hurtado, followed by Margie Duarte.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to say that the city manager contacted me yesterday afternoon in regards to the questions that I asked at the last city council meeting. They were not very good answers. He always covers up everything. He told me that he does consult the city attorney on everything he does. This only brought up more questions to me. Like, did he consult the city attorney after they were at the Del Rey for 3 hours? It just doesn't make sense. You say it's a personnel, confidential because it's a personnel matter. You won't tell us why the police chief was fired, Espinosa, because it's a personnel matter. I can only assume that it was because he started the investigation on the man up here. I don't understand why you would fire him when he's on a medical leave. That only makes his lawsuit more plentiful. I don't understand when you fired him so fast, what was the urgency to bring, shall I say, Louis the Snake in? Because that's what it is. The backstabbing that he did, the investigation, anybody that hasn't read that investigation,
Mr. Mayor,
I'm glad
I don't
it
think
came,
it's
I'm glad
appropriate
it
to
came
allow
out.
members of the
It's my
public
3
to
minutes.
criticize public employees, city employees
It's
during
my
their
3
public comment
minutes.
period.
It's my 3 minutes.
It is your 3 minutes, but there's also
then-
limits,
then let me
sir.
have my 3
Sir,
minutes.
there's
Start the
there's
clock,
also
please.
limits.
Mr. Hurtado, if you can please continue with
Start
the
the
public.
clock and let me start over again then.
We can stop and then, but just, we have to continue with the public comments, but we cannot attack any member specifically here, any personnel.
I'm not attacking him.
Or just having a conversation or.
Well, okay, that's fine. I got it out already. Everybody heard that? Okay, I got it out.
Okay, you may proceed.
Okay? So I cannot understand if that report had not gotten out, that would have been concealed also. And we would have never known the reason or the results of that thing. Because that results of that thing asked for him to be fired. He shall we say, broke the law, and now you bring him in as police chief? I'm surprised that you didn't ask him to wear about 6 or 7 stars on his collar. It's really disgusting, and it's all yours. I'll be glad when you're gone.
Thank you for your comment. If we can please have the next speaker.
Next speaker is Margie Duarte, followed by Tila Gregorian.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council and the City of Montebello. I'm a retired sheriff deputy once again, here to let you know that I have a lot of time on my hands and I investigate things and look into things. I'm just here to bring up an important topic on Child Abuse Prevention Month. During the past meetings, we've heard an amount of pro and negative things within the City Council and how good the members were and the candidates who were elected. Well, since you're bringing up Child Abuse Month, I just want you to be aware of one of your members sitting up here that has Child Protective Services. She's under investigation right now. And I don't know if you knew that when you voted her in, but, child abuse is a felony, okay? It's a felony. But then again, a couple of you have already committed felons up there, so I guess you all stick together. But I want the community to know you voted her in, and she's under investigation for abuse on her children, and she's also being monitored. So that's all I got to say. I want you guys to be aware and the community to be aware of who you voted in. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. If we can please have the next speaker.
Next speaker is Tila Gregorian, followed by Linda Nicholas.
Good evening, council members, city staff, and Montebello residents. Tila Gregorian, and here I have to agree that with Raul, that was on my notes also. When is Espinosa? How could you have fired him when he was on medical leave? Do we need another lawsuit in our city? I mean, we need to exist, and you're going to send us to the poorhouse. We cannot afford to be paying so many lawsuits. This is really should have been avoidable because you don't fire anyone that's on medical. And then the other one is, have you brought Omar back? Rodriguez? There's so much going on, and I wonder if anybody knows what you're doing. You're just firing and hiring, and you don't seem to care who you hire, who you fire. We have 2 council members sitting here, quote unquote, council members. There was not a quorum when they were appointed. Are you not aware, the rest of you, of this? There was only 2 here that appointed him. Have we changed the rules in our city? If you have, then I think you need to put it out in written notice to the public, the community, and let us know. And Arnold, you're supposed to advise them. You were here when they did that. So what is going on? I'm very confused as to what we're doing in our city. I mean, we just appoint people because they want to be sitting up there. Well, you could have called a special election. You say you don't want to spend the money for special election? Well, guess what? The lawsuits you're going to have on this is going to be more costly than special election. Give the people, the residents of our city, the right to pick their city council members. And also, going back to Espinosa, I would like to see him come back to us. We're very happy with his work. And I don't know who didn't like him or why they decided to fire him on medical. There comes another big lawsuit because I don't think he's going to settle for just a few $1,000s. What is going on? I keep on asking myself, and I can never seem to have an answer because I don't think any of you have an answer. So I think you need to get together, manager and city council.
Thank you for your comment.
And decide.
Thank you. If we can please have the next speaker.
Next speaker is Linda Nicholas, followed by Bill Poliso.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. My name is Linda Nicholas, co-founder of Match 90640. I don't know if you're aware of this, but you have caused the community to unite. There's a group called Montebello United. There's a Montebello Voices and our group. Why? Because of your loss of integrity on the council. We are so disgusted by you guys. You know, you think you sound intelligent? According to your puppet master, she doesn't understand why people attack Rick when he's the most intelligent one up there. We consider him a moron, so what does that make the rest of you if she considers him the smartest? You guys the dumbest? Now, as far as looking at the community, we're united. All of these groups are uniting against what you're doing. And if you think we're gonna take this city down, trust me, law enforcement is gonna come in from all sides, from Sacramento, all the way from the feds. You know they're coming. It's only a matter of time. Now, you sit there and you think you're intelligent. Mr. Roldan gave a presentation. Everything you asked, if you would have listened to him, it was up there. Everything you asked, you double talked. To sound intelligent? No, you just sound like you're an idiot because you don't listen to what he was presenting. You're a council member. Act like one. I mean, I know you're not really, but just kind of play it, okay? Now, Mr. Mayor, our community is disgusted. We're embarrassed. Our city surrounding us, you guys are a laughing stock. They said, what the hell's going on in your city? Your city attorney lied? How could he say a quorum is 2? He sat up there and lied, and we proved it. And that's not going to end there, trust me. The powers that be are going to come down on you guys. You committed voter fraud. The minute you appointed him with 2 instead of a quorum, that's controlling the votes on a council. That's against the law. And if it's true that you're under investigation, what the hell's wrong with you people? Don't you do your homework? Don't you look at these people's background? Just because you want to have a person that's going to say yes, you're going to appoint him? She has ties to Cortez. She collected over $2,000 getting signatures. Every one of you has a tie to her. And guess what? Outside this city, she doesn't have a very good reputation. And that's now on you guys.
Thank you for your comment. If we can please have the next speaker.
Next speaker is Bill Poliso, followed by Will Severo.
Good evening. I'd just like to have it on record that 67 days ago, I requested a meeting with my representative, Mr. Rick Alonzo, and I still have not heard from him. All right, thank you.
Thank you for your comment. If we can please have the next speaker.
Next speaker is Will Severo, followed by Teresa Lopez.
Will Severo, resident. I wish I could make up law like Arnold does. Like, this guy's amazing. And you guys also think he's gonna protect you? Did you not see what he did in Huntington Park? He ran like the rat he is the minute shit was coming down. And you think he's gonna be here to protect you guys? You guys are hilarious. Here's the real law of the land. Since you love to quote 1803 and 1849 law, just like what you try to do with the Arcadia law that you try to pull from, what was it, 1889? from 1803. This is what the law of the land states, and it's actually shepherdized, unlike what you did. The law of the land, the general misconception is that any statute passed by legislators, which is also considered legislators, bearing the appearance of law, the constitutional law of the land. The U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and any statute to be valid must be in agreement. It is impossible for a law which violates the Constitution to be valid. This is succinctly stated as follows. All laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. Mulberry versus Madison. You should know that when you were still, I'm sure, on council when it was coming out. Why do I say that? Because you or anybody here cannot enforce, I have to talk to you. If I want to insult a council member because they're elected, or if I want to talk about employees, that is my God-given right, my First Amendment right. It's protected. And I already went to court against a council member and won, and the council member was directly told by the judge. So if we want to go through this whole route again, it'll be great. I'll put it back in the paper again too, so we can have another one. But at the end of the day, the judge agreed with me that we're allowed to come up here during our speaking time, criticize and talk about anything because you guys are using our tax dollars. This isn't a personal thing. It's a problem. Now, I'm going to skip forward because Mr. Glassman actually told you guys a lie when you guys were voting, and he said you guys had a quorum with 2 people. Yet 2 years before, you guys had 3 people and you didn't meet a quorum. So please make the math for me. Why is that an issue? Because he also said that he contacted Stromwasser and Wuscher, and we have email confirmation that that guy never contacted him in 2025 or 2024 for this matter. He's trying to cover his ass like he always does. One question I'm going to ask is also for Mr. Roland. This is actually a great presentation. I do know, like in Texas and other states, like example, if you have a road that's going through your area, because Montebello does not have an eminent domain, we have right-of-way. Would we possibly be able to use a right-of-way? That's actually a question that might go for Arnold or some other way, because they have, obviously the road's been going through there for over 50 years, so they probably don't even know. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your comment. If we can please have the next speaker.
Next speaker is Teresa Lopez.
Don't think she's here.
Yeah. Can you please state your name for the record?
Good evening, Council. My name is Raudel Alviso. I am here on behalf of Teresa Lopez. I have her public comment here for the record. All right. Good evening, Mayor Melendez, Honorable City Council members, and city staff. My name is Raudel Alviso, and I'm here on behalf of Teresa Lopez. As follows is her public comment. I'm a proud Montebello resident and the founder of Hearts of Compassion and Unidos Montebello. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I want to start by thanking the Community Alliance for Healthy Outdoor Spaces, CAHOS, for the educational presentation on February 26. I'm proud to be part of this coalition and its efforts to protect public health. I strongly support smoke-free protections in outdoor areas, and I urge the council to pass an ordinance to make our public spaces safer and healthier for everyone. As someone with asthma, secondhand smoke deeply affects me. When I'm at the park with my family or enjoying city events, I often have to cut my time short because of the smoke exposure. One of my favorite things is dancing at the Montebello Night Market. Bailar es mi alegría. Dancing is my joy. But when there's smoke in the air, my lungs tighten and I struggle to breathe. Sometimes I can't even stand and I'm forced to go home. That's not fair, not to me, and not to others in our community who deal with similar health issues. No one should suffer because they want to enjoy their city. Everyone should be able to enjoy Montebello's parks and events without risking their health. Please take this step forward. Help us build a city where clean air is guaranteed for all. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. If we can please have the next speaker.
Mayor, that does conclude all speaker cards for non-agenda items.
Thank you, and thank you for everybody that provided public comment. We'll move on to staff communication on items of community interest.
Yes, Mayor, we have a couple of items that pertain to our fire department that we wanted to inform the community about. Chief Pelaez, do you want to speak, sir?
Yes, thank you, City Manager, and good evening, Mayor, members of City Council, and city residents. So we have 2 events coming up here in the month of one in April, one in May. The City of Montebello has partnered with the American Red Cross, and we're going to be having a donation center for blood. And we're asking the community, council members, and anybody that can come out and support. Chief Lopez and myself are taking the lead on this. It's called the Battle of the Badges. So please come out, give blood. Fire department will have T-shirts for anybody that donates blood. This will take place at the Senior Center this Tuesday, April 22nd, from 1 to 7 p.m. And it's an amazing thing. The donation of blood has gone down a lot since the pandemic. I think it's over 65%. To me, donating blood is very near and dear to my heart. I happen to have a very rare type of blood. My blood goes to save preemie babies, so I like to donate at least 3 times a year. So I'm going to put the challenge out to the community, to the city employees, to everybody. This partnership, they're going to, hopefully we can collect 50 liters of plasma. That is the goal. So it's going to take all of us coming together as a community, as a city, and it's for a great cause. The next one is our CERT program. It's going to be our second class. We're asking for community members that want to join us and be heroes in the community. We need you. Sign up. It's free and it's in person. It's a community response team training, and it's going to start in May, from May 7th through June 25th. It's Thursday evenings from 6 to 9 p.m. at Reggie Rodriguez Park on Mines in the South. And it's an amazing time to get specialized skills. And we will have our CERT team out this Saturday, I believe, at the extravaganza. They're going to have a table there. So this will be our second class. And that concludes everything.
Thank you, Chief. Do we have any other items? Okay, we'll move on to our regular business. We have item number 12, the review of current city council assignments to various boards, agencies, and ad hoc and task force committees. We brought this back because at the time we only had 4 council members. Now we have a new council member to see if there's any changes. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and go down the list to the current council representative and just see if there's anybody who for some reason can't make the time commitment, would like to not serve anymore, and see if there's any interest from any of my other colleagues or for our new council member. So I'll begin with the sanitation district, which I'm currently serving. The designee is the mayor. I'll continue to serve that. Same thing with the Los Angeles County City Selection Committee. Again, the designee is the mayor. I'll continue to serve that. I'll move down to the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments. Currently, we have Councilmember Alonso. Do you still have the time commitment? Do you still want to continue to serve there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll move down to the Capital Projects Committee, the ACE project. At the time, I really don't have the time commitment to serve. I would like to open it to see if there's any of my colleagues that would like to serve on that. I know it's they meet every first Monday at 11 a.m. So, all right, I'll continue to serve. I'll try to reshuffle. So then we have the Gateway Cities Council of Governments. Currently, we have the representative, Mayor Pro Tem Tamayo. Mayor Pro Tem, do you still want to continue to serve there?
Yes.
Yeah. We have the Independent City Association. I know Councilor Peralta is not here, so we'll skip that one. We have the Montebello Chamber of Commerce. Currently, the representative is Mayor Pro Tem Tamayo. Is that something you still want to continue to serve?
If somebody wants to take that.
Councilor Romero, is there any interest? No. Okay, I can serve on that one. Or do you want to continue? Do you have the time?
I can continue,
okay,
yes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to offer if anybody, but I'll be happy to continue.
Perfect. So you'll stay on that one.
Okay.
Then we have the League of California Cities. Councilor Alonso, we have you as a representative there. Do you still want to?
Yeah, I'd like to continue representing.
Okay. All right. The County Vector Control, we have a resident that serves that, so we won't change that. SIACA. Currently, we have Councilmember Alonso.
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Councilwoman Romero for this.
Councilor Romero, are you able to serve? It is, they meet every third Thursday at 2 p.m.
I'll accept.
Okay, so we'll put you here. We'll swap off Councilmember Alonso, and then we can just do a full motion, correct? Yeah, okay.
Actually, so would you like to be alternate?
Yes, I can be alternate.
So I'll step down as alternate and have.
Okay, so we'll have Councilmember Romero as the representative, and then we'll have Councilmember Alonso as the alternate. Okay, SCAG will remain the same. Councilmember Peralta serves in that as a representative. For the ad hocs, before we begin, I'd like to see if I can get my consensus on forming an Olympic ad hoc committee. On Saturday, I was able to attend a meeting with Mayor Karen Bass and other mayors in the LA County area, and there is a lot of opportunities for us to one way or another participate, not just in the Olympics, but all the sporting events are coming to LA. The World Cup is coming in next year. There is the NCAA, the Super Bowl, and there's different opportunities for us to have activation zones here in the city. We do have, I know our Montebello Bus Lines, our director and our city manager, I believe, have been in conversations to see how we can support. What I'd like to do with this ad hoc, and I'd like to serve on it as well, would be to kind of have a conversation and a committee with some stakeholders, business owners, another one of my colleagues, staff, maybe a few residents, and see how we can prepare and make sure that we don't miss out on any opportunities for us to partake and be part of the Olympics and the experience. We met with on Saturday, we met with the CEO of the Olympics, and there's a lot of ideas out there, so I just want to make sure that we're prepared and that we can assure that we get some of the tourism that's coming in, and also for our residents to feel like they can participate as well. So I'd just like to see if I can get consensus to create that ad hoc committee.
Just for our purposes, in the creation, you would be requesting 2 members to participate, the council, right? Yourself and somebody else, and then as we go through the process, we'll include stakeholders at the discretion of the
Correct.
staff. Okay.
So I don't know if at this time it would be appropriate to first entertain whether we create this ad hoc.
Are you looking this to be more of an informal ad hoc? Because if you formulate it by council motion, then it's going to be a Brown Act committee. So my suggestion would be is just to have you make that recommendation. They do that in other jurisdictions where the mayor just indicates he would like to have that ad hoc formed, and then designate who you'd like to serve with you on that ad hoc.
Okay, so we'll do that. We can go ahead and do that ad hoc first, and then depending on the conversations and all that, then maybe we can create something more informal with the residents, stakeholders, and our chamber. Yep.
And at this point, you're just looking at council level, or?
At this point, yeah, we'll begin at the council level, and then we'll engage, and I think we can do like a marketing campaign to include and work with our Chamber of Commerce and have some businesses. Okay, so do we need a motion right now to approve it? No? Okay. All right, so do we need a designee, or is it at the?
I'm assuming you want to serve, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, I'd like to serve, and then I'd like to open it to any of my colleagues to see if any of the other member would like to serve.
And it would be one additional colleague, because if we have 2, then it becomes a
one additional colleague. No, I can serve alone.
I'm sorry, you're looking for somebody to assist you? Was that?
Just to be part of the ad hoc committee.
Yeah, I'll volunteer.
Okay, so we have Councilmember Romero. All right. Okay, so I'll move down the rest of the ad hocs. We currently have Ashia's sister, Mayor Pro Tem Tamayo. We currently have you there. Do you want to continue to serve?
I would like to keep that.
Okay. We have the Stepanakert Sister City Association. I'm currently the representative. I'll go ahead and stay there. The Innovating Commerce Serving Communities Ad Hoc, I believe that's designated for the mayor, Mayor Pro Tem. We'll keep that as is. The Joint School District Ad Hoc, we do have Councilmember Peralta there, so we won't discuss that one. Washington Gold Line Coalition, Councilmember Alonso, you want to
Yeah,
continue
I'd like
serving?
to continue serving.
Okay. And then we have the Adventist White Memorial Ad Hoc. I'll continue to serve there. And the Economic Development and Workforce Development Ad Hoc Committee, we have Councilmember Peralta and Mayor Pro Tem Tamayo. Yeah. And then we'll call it the Olympic Ad Hoc Committee, and it'll be myself and Councilmember Romero. Okay, so at this time, I'll entertain a motion for those changes. Do we need to go? Staff, did we get all the changes, or would you like me to? You got them? Perfect. Okay, so at this time, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for the noted changes to both the regional board assignments and the ad hoc.
Okay, we have a first by Mayor Pro Tem. Can I have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a second by Councilmember Romero. If we can please have a roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Tamayo,
Aye.
Councilmember Alonso,
Hi.
Councilmember Romero,
Aye.
Mayor Melendez.
And I vote aye. All right, we'll move on to item number 13. I believe we have a presentation by the Director of Recreation and Community Services, Mr. Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. Tonight, proud to present item number 13, which is a generic update to the city's municipal code specific to Chapter 12.24 for the park rules and regulations, as well as introducing a new chapter, Chapter 12.27, to cover the public dog parks, since we'll be having a dog park here soon. So before we get started here, I just want to thank a couple people here who did a lot of hard work on this. Our Assistant Director, Veronica Ramirez, one of our supervisors, Susan Peebles, and our analyst, Lori Aguilar, did a lot of work in studying and looking at other cities and municipalities, as well as our Director of Community Development, Joe Palumbi, and the code enforcement team reviewed, as well as our Chief of Police, Chief Lopez, I'm sorry, for reviewing this as well and giving us the best recommendations and best practices. So a little bit about what's going on. Like I said, two real actions looking at Chapter 12.24, which is stated conduct in public parks. Just to kind of summarize what the staff report is talking about today, the suggested language aims to be consistent with current park use and to further clarify current language found within the code. Just some minor revisions, essentially, for this chapter. The proposed amendments to Chapter 12.24 for conduct in public parks are summarized as follows. The definitions section is updated to include the newest park amenities that have been built over the last few years and are in the process of being built, such as the dog park. We cover the pickleball courts and exercise station. Essentially, this makes all of the provisions of Chapter 12.24 apply to these amenities as well. The picnic section, that's updated to prohibit roping off, caution taping, staking, or fencing areas of the park, to restrict access. Kind of a common sense thing, but without it in the code where it's harder to enforce. So oftentimes staff run into folks that are kind of reserving areas of the park without permit, and this allows us to regulate that. Third bullet point there is the public park reservations section will be updated to prohibit use of park facilities for private instruction, training classes. The city offers several classes in the name of the best practice for the city and keeping our liability low. We don't want organized activity without permit, so this area covers that. A new section is being proposed to prohibit amplified sound. Now, with proper permitting, that is allowed in certain cases through the temporary use permit process, but generally there'll be no amplified sound allowed at parks. A new section is also being proposed to prohibit unauthorized use of city-owned utilities, essentially folks tapping into our electricity, water, irrigation, et cetera. So all these recommendations, again, are looking at best practices and current use of parks. We looked at several cities, Anaheim, Whittier, Pico Rivera, Downey, everything that's kind of around us. Just one other comment, Mayor and members of the council, was brought up earlier. Last year, in January of 24, the City Council adopted some changes in Ordinance 2471 that did prohibit smoking in public parks or within 40 feet of public parks and city events. So I know that was referenced earlier, so that already is part of the Park Municipal Code. Up next is the new chapter that we're proposing. So everything in the staff report and the attachment that's underlined is about the Acuna Park Dog Park and dog parks in general. So it's a little preview there. We know that the dog park's under construction currently at Acuna Park. And we're suggesting Chapter 12.27, which covers, again, like I mentioned, conduct in public dog park facilities. So Acuna Dog Park is expected to open in the coming months, currently under construction, as I mentioned. The current municipal code does not include language that specifically addresses conduct in dog parks. Like I said, in 1224, we're suggesting to add dog parks to all the general park rules. But as I'll state here in a few slides here, that Chapter 1227 is very specific to dog parks. So 1227 is being proposed to be added to the Montebello Municipal Code to aid in providing a positive experience for all users, as you'll see in some of the suggestions. The Recreation and Community Services Department, Montebello Police Department, and Code Enforcement Division work together to identify potential issues staff may experience and propose regulations for the dog park. To be noted again, these aren't just things that we came up with on our own. Staff research local municipalities' rules and regulations that govern dog parks to make suggestions for Montebello's new municipal code section at the approval of council. So some of those cities were LA County Park System, San Diego, City of Lakewood, Anaheim, Garden Grove, La Habra, La Mirada, amongst others. And getting to some specifics here, the new chapter will establish rules and regulations to be enforced at all off-leash dog parks within the city. The chapter will include designated hours of operation, regulations, signage requirements, violation penalties, and the power of park employees to enforce violations. Specific regulations found in Chapter 1227 would include dogs must be accompanied by adults, essentially. Dogs must be vaccinated and licensed. No more than 3 dogs will be allowed per adult, just to control some of what we mentioned earlier about businesses going on or having a best experience for folks so dogs aren't too crazy in there. Dogs must be spayed or neutered. Aggressive dogs are not allowed in the dog park, and no animals or other than dogs are permitted in the dog park. So, sorry to the cats, it is a dog park. General dog park rules. To summarize my presentation here, so in addition to the regulations added to the code, there are some other areas that are not necessarily code-worthy. So Chapter 1227.060 and 1227.070 allow city employees to enforce any posted rules, obviously using our code enforcement and police contacts for any type of citation or removal of individuals. The inclusion of additional rules allows for city employees to request people to leave. So some general rules that you'll find on the park signs and it's in the attachment on the staff report that again, that are not necessarily code-worthy, but are enforceable per 1227.060, or dog owners have to clean up after themselves, self-explanatory. No outside food is allowed, no digging by dogs, no choke pinch or spike collars are to be permitted within the dog park. Dogs must be leashed entering and exiting the dog park, so the entire Henry Acuna doesn't become a full dog park, it's just the fenced area. And then no ill or injured dogs are permitted. And that essentially summarizes everything that we've proposed here for the City Council's consideration. I'm happy to take any questions at this time.
Thank you, Director Sosnowski, for the presentation. I'll look to see if any of my colleagues have any questions or comments on this item. Mayor Pro Tem?
I do have a question. Regarding the licensed dogs, is that something that can be a license, you can get it through the city, or do you know how that works?
Yes, I'll probably look towards Mr. Solars over there, but I know the dog licensing is handled through the finance department.
It's actually handled directly through SIACA. So they turn it over completely. So anybody who's needs to get their dog license would just go through SIACA.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Okay, any other comments, questions? No? Okay, just again, thank you for the presentation and for working on this with the other department heads as well, and appreciate everybody's time on this. We'll move on to item number 14. We'll turn it over to Director Solars, I believe. Yes.
Yes, Mayor, City Council, thank you very much.
My apologies. We need to first have a motion on this item. I thought it was a presentation. If I can please entertain a motion for item number 13.
I make the motion to approve.
Okay, we have a first by Councilor Romero. Can I have a second?
A second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem. If I can please have a roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Tamayo?
Aye.
Councilmember Alonso?
Aye.
Councilor Romero?
Aye.
Mayor Melendez.
And I vote aye. All right, now we'll move on to item number 14. Sorry for taking the mic away, Salarza.
No worries, thank you. Again, thank you, Mayor, Council. So this is a summary of our community budget forum and budget survey feedback as we are starting the budget process and moving forward. So as a reminder, we had 3 budget forums this year. We had 2 last year, so we added 1. February 20th at Senior Center, 27th at Reggie Rodriguez Park, and then March 13th at Quiet Cannon. And then we had, for the 3rd year in a row, community budget survey, which was live from 18th of February through 20th of March. And the whole goal was to get feedback on budget priorities and wants and needs from the community and from our residents. So for the community budget forums, a total of 50 residents attended. Each was well attended and almost equally attended, which was a nice improvement over last year. In addition, 30 staff attended all across all 3 sessions. We had basically a city hall in the community. Staff from code enforcement, fire, PD, Parks and Rec were present to answer questions of the residents, and we're encouraged to seek out the staff there for questions, issues, concerns that they might have. And then the highlight was getting resident feedback. So we set up flip charts around the rooms, and at the end of the presentation, residents were encouraged to just go right on the large poster boards what they wanted to see in their communities, where they felt there were needs. And across all 3 forums, we received 52 total comments. So shout out to Senior Admin Assistant Elizabeth Robles for putting all the comments together, reading everybody's handwriting from the flip charts. So what you have here is all 52 comments kind of summarized by large categories. And what you'll see is the majority of feedback has something to do with what's categorized as infrastructure improvement. And the largest part is infrastructure improvement in our parks, followed by beautification, trash, graffiti, things like that. But as you notice, we received comments across the board about code enforcement, public safety, several general comments about improvements to life in South Montebello. So again, a lot of good wide-ranging comments, and the residents and the attendees were very, very engaged throughout all 3 sessions. So again, the largest number of comments was improvements to park facilities. 31% of all comments were there. 15% had something to do with graffiti abatement, landscape improvements, things like that. And all of these comments have been, they're attached to the agenda report. They've been provided to the city council, the individual comments themselves, and also to department directors. And the whole goal is to use this this feedback, these comments, as we develop our budgets for next year. And then the budget survey, for those who weren't able to attend the community forums, we got a total of 75 responses. The survey was kind of a combination of education and getting feedback from the residents. And the goal was, again, additional method to get residents' insight into the budget. And so the executive survey, and shout out to Director Sosnowski's public affairs team for running the survey and assisting me with getting this feedback. What's interesting is the comments we got from the budget survey very much in line with what we received during the budget forums. You'll see a lot of common themes here. Street paving, sidewalk repairs, better lighting. So again, kind of those infrastructure improvement needs and wants. More trees, greenery, additional code enforcement officers. A lot of respondents wanting some new businesses, some restaurants, shopping centers, again, looking towards economic development, how to build that in the city. Kind of hand in hand with a revitalized downtown area. Very specific comments about similar to Downey or Whittier. Very specific comments about wanting a Trader Joe's. And then you'll see here better maintenance of park equipment and more recreational spaces. Again, you'll see a kind of a correlation between what we got on the survey versus what we got during the forums. Very similar comments. So next steps, again, the departments have been provided with both the survey information and the budget form information. And as directors put their budget requests together, as we meet with the city manager and move forward with putting a budget together, all of this feedback is being considered. And then as we move forward, there'll be additional presentations of the budget in May and June to City Council. So again, thank you, and I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Salorza, for all of your hard work and for all the teams as well. And honestly, also a shout out to all the departments that participated and had a table and a booth where residents could go and ask some questions, share some concerns, and that was a really great thing to see here. I'll go along the line. I'll start off with Mayor Pro Tem Tamayo for any comments, questions.
My comment, yes. It's the second year, I think, that we've had the community budget session, so I would like to continue with that. I think we're receiving very good feedback in knowing what the priorities are in the community and trying to also reflect from our end just to make sure that we're still, we have our pulse on what's going on. So I would like to continue definitely the community budget sessions that are part of the budget.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'll go with Councilmember Alonso.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to attend a couple of those, and I really appreciate you putting together a presentation that was easy to understand, and it was a section of the presentation that was also interactive, where you asked people for those comments, which obviously you presented here, so it's tremendous. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Councilmember Romero.
Yes, also, I'd just like to say I did attend one of the budget meetings, and I too thought it was extremely informative, very easy to understand. And for some people, residents, finances and budget might be intimidating. I know to me, it's a bit intimidating, and it was extremely easy to understand and informative. And I just encourage residents for future meetings that come up to attend, because we need a voice, and that's definitely the time to make your opinions heard and concerns heard for the budget meeting. So thank you, I appreciate that.
Again, thank you for the presentation. Just one thing I'd like to point out, I think this would be the appropriate time here, but we've, over the last, I think, several months, several weeks, kind of the community feedback that we received has been our restrooms at Grant Ray, and I'm just bringing that up because we did have a community funding request that we had submitted last year to be able to kind of help the infrastructure of a lot of those facilities. Unfortunately, the current administration has taken off all those community funding requests. So we had 2 projects here in the city of Montebello where we're going to receive some funding that got approved by Congressmember Sanchez, but the current administration has taken off all those funding requests. They have opened it up again, and we did resubmit, projects. We hope that the administration is able to next year, hopefully, approve those, and we're able to get selected by the Congress member. And I just bring that up because we still have a year away. The community funding request and community funding process at the federal level takes almost a year for us to know, and especially if there's like delays with the reconciliation package and all that fun stuff that's happening in DC. We could probably see maybe until a year for us to even get the approval of it. I just like to see that in this budget that we can somehow allocate some funding for that.
Yes, Mayor, that is accurate. You and I had the pleasure of meeting with the Congresswoman where unfortunately we were informed that, the projects that we submitted last funding cycle, specifically for Grant Ray Park improvements, were approved. Unfortunately, there was no funding tied to it. So So we once again, at the request of the Congresswoman, we resubmitted the same projects and added a couple more pertaining to fire and the police department. But we are very cognizant. I would say, I mean, my 16, 17 months that I've been here, one of the number one issues that's brought up has been in public parks, safety, maintenance, things to that effect. One of our goals, at least with this budget, is to include some funding towards improvements in our parks. Now, we like everything else, we have a lot of competing interests and a lot of things to consider, but that is our hope. Our hope is also, as you're talking about, you put in these funding requests and they get approved and they're a year away. One of the key things that we heard from the community as part of the budget forums last year was actually park safety. And if the residents may remember, and council may remember, you did actually approve a Parks Bureau last year. It's taken a year or so for us to actually implement something. It's not something that happens overnight. Our hope is that we're implementing the Parks Bureau, hopefully to begin by this summer, which will our goal would be to address some of these concerns in the parks. Right now, the maintenance issues are maintenance issues, right? Like regular upkeep, things like that. But there's also issues that are associated with just a certain element that causes vandalism in our restrooms. So with our Parks Bureau, our hope is that we have a community-oriented peace officer presence in our parks that will help address some of these concerns, that will ensure that people feel safe in our parks, that minimizes some of the vandalism that happens in our restrooms in particular. At least that's a hope. So we are going to tackle it with actual bodies at our parks, provide that coverage, and then also try to provide additional funding so we can do some of those cosmetic improvements to the restrooms, because we are very, very mindful of how heavily used our parks are, and we want to make sure that we provide the best services to our residents.
Thank you for that. And thank you again to Mr. Solorza for the presentation. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve this item, the receive and file.
I motion to approve.
We have a first by Mayor Pro Tem. Can I get a second?
A second.
Okay, we have a second by Councilmember Alonso. If I can please have a roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Tamayo.
Aye.
Councilmember Alonso.
Aye.
Councilmember Romero.
Aye.
Mayor Melendez.
And I vote aye. All right, we'll move on to item number 15, and I'll turn it over to our Director of Transit, Mr. Soria.
Thank you, Mayor Melendez. Good evening, City Council. This evening, we do have an item before you. Here in the city of Montebello, we have the opportunity and the good pleasure of operating Montebello bus lines, which is the third largest public transit system within Los Angeles County. Within our system, we run 8 fixed routes, and one of those routes is identified as Line 20. The Line 20 runs north to south on Montebello Boulevard, from the shops at Montebello all the way down to Washington, Montebello Boulevard all the way down to Telegraph, and it does a little loop and turns back around. This line here is strategically important to the city's planning priorities, the city's planning priorities as it relates to economic development, as it relates to affordable housing, but again, specific to the local economic growth, since it connects key commercial corridors by way of Montebello Boulevard at Beverly, at Whittier Boulevard, and Washington Boulevard. However, service to these corridors is currently impacted by the construction of a bridge at the railroad crossing at Montebello Boulevard and Olympic as part of the city's Alameda Corridor East, also known as the ACE project. It's our understanding that this project is going to take approximately, anywhere between 3 to 5 years for completion. And so we've brought forth the Line 20 Free Fare project as an initiative that's designed to encourage greater ridership and improve access to these corridors. Since this is a corridor that is, again, very strategic and important to the city's future growth and economic vitality. And so it's our intent to be able to provide free fare to help alleviate the impacts that are currently impacting the ridership in this area, but also to ensure that public transit remains a viable transportation option for all of our residents, not just now, but going into the future, especially as we anticipate the arrival of the light rail system that's going to be coming to the Washington corridor. And so this project here, we'll be pursuing, we're asking for your consideration this evening to approve our submission of an application for some Caltrans dollars that'll help support this free fare project for Line 20. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Soria. I'll look to see if any of my colleagues have any questions, comments. No, my only question, Director, is so the revenue, this is a free fare. The revenue is going to be provided by Caltrans, you said. Is there a specific amount or for a certain amount of time?
Yeah, so there's approximately $350,000 in this grant that, if awarded, this will go directly to the operated expenses for specific to the Line 20.
Okay, and will this require like any more buses or anything like that? Like any changes of operation?
It won't require any additional additions to our fleet. It'll actually help us with what our current deployment is, but it will allow us in the transit planning component where we could potentially identify the introduction of additional buses on the route, but we do have the rolling stock to accommodate for that.
Okay. If none of my colleagues have any other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to approve this item.
I motion to approve.
Okay, we have a first by the Mayor Pro Tem.
Hi, second.
We have a second by Councilmember Alonso. If I could please have a roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Tamayo,
Aye.
Councilmember Alonso,
Hi.
Councilmember Romero,
Aye.
Mayor Melendez.
And I vote aye. We'll move on to the consent calendar. Pass it on to our City Attorney.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Tonight we have items 16 through 25 on the consent agenda. All matters listed in the consent agenda are considered to be routine. Any item a member wishes to discuss, including any item of public the public has submitted a speaker card for, should be designated at this time. All other items may be approved in a single motion, and such approval will waive the reading of any ordinance. Let me check with the city clerk. Mr. City Clerk, do we have any comment cards for consent agenda?
No, we have no speaker cards.
Thank you. If I may poll the council, then we're dealing with items 16 through 25 on tonight's agenda. And in the rotation tonight, it's Mayor Pro Tem Tamayo. Do you have any items?
No items.
Thank you. We'll move on to Councilmember Alonso.
No items.
Thank you. Councilmember Romero.
No items.
And thank you. And also to Mayor Melendez.
I have no items.
Be appropriate to entertain a motion to approve items 16 through 25.
I motion to approve.
Okay, we have a first by Mayor Pro Tem.
Hi, second.
Can I have we have a second by Councilmember Alonso. If I can please have a roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Tamayo,
Aye.
Councilmember Alonso,
Aye.
Councilmember Romero,
Aye.
Mayor Melendez.
And I vote aye. Okay, all items are approved. We'll move on to AB 1234 travel reports. I'll look around to see if any of my colleagues have anything to report. Okay. We'll now move on to council orals. So the first one I see here is Mayor Pro Tem Tamayo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My oral is, the city last year provided funding to service organizations. For this year, I would like to propose to add the sports programs to the list of organizations that will receive funds. Not necessarily CDBG. I know I said CDBG, but I believe it comes from another type of funding. Montebello sports organizations serve thousands of youth combined. So investing in our sports leagues means investing in our youth. Organizations such as AYSO, soccer, NBA, which is doing baseball and softball, now Golden State basketball, Indians football, and PAL basketball are already doing their work, but they need resources to keep their programs thriving. So if I can get consensus to include the Montebello sports organizations as part of the funding.
Mayor Pro Tem, just a question, I guess more towards staff. How would this look into the application process of including the specific sports leagues? Are we issuing that for them to submit it, or just if we can explain the process a little bit.
At this point, I would ask the council to give us opportunity to identify what's the best mechanism, right? As I know you mentioned CDBG maybe or not. CDBG funding has very strict requirements, so we want to go. I would say let us assess what's the best option to try to reach this goal, whether it's CDBG or general fund or another funding stream, depending on what it is. And then based on that, that'll actually point us in the right directions on what kind of requirements they may need to submit to get this funding. So we'll report back on that.
Okay. Sounds good. So just for clarification, so for this, council will just be kind of getting information on how we can help those sports organizations. Okay. All right. So if I can please have a roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Tamayo?
Aye.
Councilmember Alonso?
Aye.
Councilmember Romero?
Aye.
Mayor Melendez?
And I vote aye. All right, we'll move on to Councilmember Alonso.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to take a quick moment to celebrate two incredible young talents in our community, the winners of this month's Art Scholarship, Luz Galdames and Genesis Lubis. Luz is a visual artist who draws from anime-style influences. Her art is bold, expressive, and I think already showing a strong sense of visual identity. Genesis is a violinist who I think's musical talent is only matched by the dedication to her craft. She's shown a level of discipline and emotional depth that I think is frankly beyond her years. Watching young people like Genesis and Luz rise up with a passion for the craft is exactly why we need to invest in the arts. I think their talents are a gift to Montebello, and we're very proud of them. The other thing I'd like to bring up is to make a formal request for the city to host this year's National Night Out in South Montebello. I think it's time we brought important community building events to the southernmost part of our city. And I think beyond that, I'm also requesting that we explore a rotational schedule for major community events, ensuring that all parks across all districts have a turn. I think we talk about equity, and this is the opportunity to show it. Mayor, may I please get a roll call vote on this request to ensure that we receive a full and detailed update at a future meeting on how we can implement a citywide rotational schedule for events and bring National Night Out to the South this year.
Okay, and Councilmember Alonso, just for clarification, this would be for the remainder of the events of this year or just something just throughout?
I think whichever one is more feasible. Either the remainder of the events of this year, or we can consider future events as long as we start to consider them in our rotational schedule for the South.
Mayor, council members, for your consideration, I would ask if the request can be for future events. The only reason I say this, and Director Sosnowski would be the expert on this, but a lot of the annual events and even your events, we do plan them almost a year in advance right now. So I do possibly see, for example, the National Night Out it's the first Tuesday of August of each year. Logistically, that might be doable in terms of making that change, but in terms of the rotational, I think that we would need a little bit more time and allowing us to actually focus on that being more future events, possibly towards next year's cycle. I can tell you, we do plan them a year in advance, right? Right, David? Mr. Sosnowski?
Yes, City Manager. Thank you, Councilmember, for bringing that up. So as the City Manager stated, everything for 25 is actually already scheduled, and some things are kind of contingent on the space. So for example, like the fireworks show for us kind of always has to be at Grant Ray Park just because of the space, the parking, and the fallout zone that's required per the fire code. Other events, we would want to have a chance to look at different areas like for a street fest to see what makes sense. So definitely, if the council makes that direction, we'll look into it. But like the City Manager stated, 2025 is kind of already set up already.
Appreciate it.
And may I add, because and I appreciate City Council, there was an item, we're going to go dark in the second meeting, but the one that's actually right around the corner is our Earth Day event, right? And it's something that was really well developed last year, and that's actually a citywide event where we go in different areas of the district. So each portion of each district is represented. Last year, I had the pleasure of spending the day at Reggie Rodriguez Park, and so I would say right around the corner, the event that actually does touch on everybody, including South Montebello and the key areas and parks, is actually our Earth Day event. So I encourage everybody to participate on Saturday, April 26th, and you'll see us everywhere. You're gonna see council, you're gonna be staff, residents participating throughout the city, helping clean up on that day.
Cool.
Okay. Do we need to take a formal vote for this, or just kind of is the explanation good, or would you like to take a vote on just exploring the future of the events, or?
Yeah, no, if a roll call is not necessary, and if this is something we can commit to, absolutely.
Okay, sounds good. I think staff will look and see and assess the situation. Okay. All right. Before I close, I'd just like to acknowledge our Montebello Police Department for the Baker to Vegas run. From what I heard, there was a really good time, and I know you all represented as well. So just want to highlight the folks that participate, and thank you for showcasing Montebello. At this time, I'd like to adjourn the meeting at 8:44. Good night.